Today's topic is on the characteristics of life. So, what makes something living and what makes something non living? That is the question. Well, we have a nice checklist to determine if something's living or not. Okay. And just to help us out, make things easy, if any of the following is just a flat plain no, or is not seen in said object, then it is considered a non living thing. Okay. Otherwise, all of the following is true for a living thing. All right, so let's get to our checklist. Living things are made up of cells. Cells are the smallest unit of life, and they're pretty important when it comes to an organism because they make up the tissues, they make up the organs, which make up the organ systems. Okay. Living things reproduce, aka they produce offspring. Again, what would the world look like if things didn't reproduce? Be a pretty different world than what we're used to today. All right, living things grow and develop. Okay, so when we're talking about growing, we're talking about increasing in the number of cells over a period of time. And when we're talking about development, we're talking about a change in that living material. Okay, for example, look at an infant compared to a toddler. The toddler has more cells than the baby, and because of development, the toddler looks a little bit different than the baby. Okay, if we keep continuing that trend, so the toddler to the teenager has more cells than the toddler, and the teenager looks different from the toddler. Okay, and then if we look at a toddler versus our teenager versus the adult has more cells than the teenager, and again, you'll notice some differences between the adult versus the teenager. And there you have it, growth and development. Okay, living things metabolize. They obtain and use energy. Okay, and energy is important because that's what the body uses to maintain balance, to grow, to reproduce, to develop, and carry out other functions within that particular organism. Okay, we got to eat. We got to get our energy because if we don't get energy, then we end up not surviving. Living things respond to the environment. They respond to things because if they didn't, yeah, they could be non-living, but they could also be dead, right? Because do dead things respond to their environment? No. But at one point that they did. Okay. For example, if we're in a really dark room and then we go outside on a bright day in the middle of the day, what is your body going to do to respond to that? Chances are your eyes are going to squint because of the brightness. Okay? That's a response to the environment because you're responding to the change of light within your environment. Okay? Another one, you're sitting outside at a park, everything's nice and quiet, you're reading a book, you're just enjoying the atmosphere, you're relieving stress, and then all of a sudden you hear this loud bark. Okay, you jump a little bit, and then you're going to turn in that direction where the bark came from. You're responding to their environment. That tells us you are living. All right. Living things maintain what we call homeostasis. And yes, that's a big H word, but you can handle it. Okay. Homeostasis just means maintaining a stable environment in the inside of an organism's body. Okay. So I like to think of it as a home. So homeostasis, a home. So it's nice and homey on the inside, warm and cozy. Everything's working the way it should be. Okay. Because if an organism's body is out of whack, it's unstable, things are not working like they should be, then that can hinder that organism's survival. Okay? If the body can't get back to normal, it can't get back to homeostasis, chances are that particular organism won't be able to survive. It'll eventually succumb and die with whatever was going on the inside of its body. So it's very, very important that living things maintain homeostasis, that stable internal environment. Okay. So what would be an example of homeostasis at work? Well, for example, think about the summertime. What's the temperature like outside in the nice bright sun in the middle of the day? It's pretty hot in it. Well, how would your body react to that? It'd sweat, wouldn't it? You would start sweating a lot, and then you'd seek somewhere, some shelter somewhere for coolness. Okay, your body sweating to cool itself off. That is an example of homeostasis, because the hot temperature outside is affecting your body temperature on the inside. So, in order to cool that off, your body will sweat. All right, we're almost done with our checklist. DNA. Living things are made of contain DNA. Okay, DNA, just an acronym that stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, DNA is hereditary information, and basically it provides instructions for making proteins. So things like your hair color, eye color, height, and etc., those are affected by proteins that are made from your body via the instructions from DNA. And the last item that is characteristic of living things is the ability to evolve/adapt. Okay? When we're talking about evolution or evolving, we're talking about a change over a long period of time. Adaptation means a certain characteristic or trait, okay, or traits that help an organism get the edge, so to speak. It better survives in that particular environment than another member of that same particular species. Okay. For example, we have one animal and there are two fur colors that can be seen within that animal population: red fur, gray fur. Okay. As we're observing this population of animals, we notice that the predators are capturing and consuming more red fur than they are gray fur. Okay. And then we're tracking it over years and years and years, and we're seeing a trend of more offspring with gray fur being born than red fur. Okay. So it's adaptation is just a trait or traits that kind of give them the edge, helps them survive better, gives them an advantage, so to speak. Okay. All right, and that does it for the characteristics of life.